Welcome to Dr. Cindy Speaks, regular musings and reflections on politics, current events. Dr. Cindy Banyai is a mom and small business owner fighting for our water, our health, our community. She's running for the people of Southwest Florida, trying to flip Florida 19 from red to blue. Listen as she speaks truth to power.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dr. Cindy Speaks. I am your host, Dr. Cindy Banyai. We are here for our fourth season on Big Mouth Media. So very excited to continue to bring you information, news, commentary about Florida politics and beyond. And as my commitment for the last few years continues, I am highlighting and uplifting Democratic candidates running in Florida and across the country who are fighting the good fight, trying to beat back this fascist push that we see across the country and get rid of some of these sycophants and oligarchs and these crazy folks that we have running what is left of our government. And so today I am continuing that pledge and that work, bringing to you congressional candidate here from Florida, Victoria Doyle. Welcome, Victoria.
Thank you, Dr. Cindy. I appreciate the invitation and I'm happy to be here.
Yes, so amazing. So I'm so excited. You know, I always really love meeting congressional candidates because as we were discussing, like I had run for Congress in Florida and I know Florida politics is like a super crazy place. And wow, do you learn a lot of the backroom stuff when you start running for offices like Congress. So, but before we jump into like the why you're doing this, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I will. So I am Victoria Doyle, born and raised in Manhattan, New York City. Went to college in Vermont, so I had my time with cold weather and mountains, and then law school in Brooklyn. So back to the city, but a different borough, which is a big deal when you're a native New Yorker. Right. Loved Brooklyn, stayed there, raised my child there, and at some point after a horrible winter, bought a house in Lake Worth Beach on the southeast coast of Florida. And every time I came for a spring break or a long weekend, according to my daughter's school schedule, I didn't want to leave. And the pull got stronger and stronger. So I love the state, the nature, the place, the weather, the people, the vibe, but couldn't leave until I launched her to college, which I did. And about a week after I dropped her off at the University of Wisconsin, great school. She loved it. I loaded up a U-Haul, literally, almost single-handedly, and drove to Florida.
Wow. There you go. You were really like, I'm out of this cold, right? I get it. I grew up in Michigan, so I was very much the sentiment. Now, by the way, my kids who grew up in Florida are like, this heat sucks.
Yeah, right.
They want to get back out. I'm like, I guess it's grass is always greener,
grass is
right?
Always greener. We can never please anybody all the time. Well, daughter was very displeased with my move because she wanted New York City to remain the hub for her during college. And I said, I'm so sorry, child. After 18 years, I get to put myself first. So I did, and bought the house in 2015, moved here in 21. So 11 years total, but about 5 full-time. Mm-hmm. Since buying the house, immediately got into activism and had always been an activist, but in Florida, it felt more meaningful because there are fewer of me here. In New York City, you go to a protest and there's 1 million people, and here you go and there might be 10. So I was on Southern Boulevard Bridge more than once, making my free speech be heard surrounding Donald Trump's elections, activities, illegal activities, etc. And also, obviously, a super voter, super canvasser, super cure the vote activist. And like most people, just disheartened, to put it mildly, over and over again with Republicans winning. And then surveying the congressional landscape here, realizing that my very own Congresswoman, Lois Frankel, who is an entrenched incumbent, has been in Congress for about 13 years, is running for her 8th term in her late 70s after an almost 40-year after almost 40 years in elected office,
Wow.
is what I would call deeply compromised by
Mm.
PAC money, corporate money, and billionaire money. And I had not paid a lot of attention to her record, being a part-timer at first and then just so Trump focused. But when Trump won again in 24 and she won, the day after that election, when many of us were so crushed by Kamala's loss and many of us had opened our bank accounts and unloaded what we could to help Kamala win, among other Democrats, Lois Frankel emailed us, her voters, the day after the election and said, well, that didn't go how we wanted it, but I won and I'm going to fight. But the only way I can fight is if you give me more money. And I remember receiving that and thinking, and it was on her congressional campaign letterhead. So it was a fundraiser the day after. And I remember thinking, that is so tone deaf.
Yeah.
Like devastated here that Donald Trump won again against what we thought were all odds. And yet here she was sort of blithely pointing out that she would need more money to be an effective fighter. And that things didn't go our way, which seemed very benign considering many of us were really earth shattered. So that's when I started studying her record. And the more I learn, the more I realize she's really been a largely ineffective congressperson. And she takes money from basically anyone, including companies and PACs who give mightily to MAGA Republicans and also give to her. And when I see specifics of some of her votes and statements, I realize that she really is often pandering to and voting in alignment with her donors. And this is really the number one reason I'm running, which is to say, we've reached a point in our democracy where money is running so roughshod over our politics that we have got to clean house and elect a generation of politicians. I mean, it's hard to call myself that because I'm running for the first time, but I guess technically that's what I am now. Politicians who are taking zero PAC, corporate, special interest, lobbyist, et cetera, money, so that we can pledge to have our allegiance be for our district, our voters, our values, our guts, and stop being in office to pay back our donors, which is what it seems to have boiled down to.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's so important. And I think that is one of the unifying messages, right? Let me just riff on this for just a moment because it really bugs me.
Me too.
Because a lot of people get things wrong in terms of what they think voters and people want, right? And it's very clear that actually on the left and the right, people are very much fed up with just what you're saying. They're fed up with the corporate interests. They're fed up with special interests, everything from AIPAC to the NRA to, tons of different corporations and special interests in Florida, FPL, right? Because they do buy favor, whether or not people believe it. This is another thing. There's a whole psychology behind it and influence in how when somebody gives you something, you're more likely to vote, act in their favor. So it doesn't matter if somebody's like, oh, I'm still myself. No, you're not. So there's this huge pushback against it. And I think that is the unifying message. Now, unfortunately, some people feel like the unifying message is being a milquetoast centrist, right? And I think that's the opposite of what people want right now. They really want somebody, just like you're going to have to explain this be bold thing. I'll give you a second here in a minute. But that's what people are looking for. They want people who will stand up and stop these kind of corrupting activities. And I will say, by the way, Lois Frankel, in terms of all of the corporate Democrats there are in the corporate Democrat universe, is not the worst of the worst. Let me put it like that. She's not the worst of the worst. She's a nice lady, she's all right. But it's this kind of complacency and this idea that, I should just keep getting elected and getting reelected. I don't necessarily have to be bringing anything back. Yes, I can take all these corporate interests and kind of at least like wink and a nudge, like, I don't have to be overt about it, but like, and then that's an acceptable way to be a politician and to be an elected official. And I think that you're 100% spot on in understanding the feeling of the people in America right now. Is we are done with that. Like, we are done with that.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you. Thank you.
over. We do not want that anymore. And again, it's left and right. I mean, it really is.
It is.
And I think that that's such an important thing for folks to really realize, is that there are so many people who are fed up with that. And really, it is the root of the rot.
Yes.
In our government.
Yes.
And that is what we have to get out. So I just wanted to riff on that for a minute, because it sounds like this is a big part of it. But I also want to say, like, guys, we're not, let me just message to all my other fellow Democrats, we are not winning with milquetoast centrists. Let me just tell you this. There's no data that that's what people want. They want people who are willing to say, end Citizens United, stop corruption, stop abuse, no corporate, takeovers of our lands, our waters, our we don't want to send money to private prisons and all this kind of stuff that has just been running rampant with both establishment Republicans and Democrats. So that being said, let me take a breath, because that is a big deal. Tell me about the Be Bold. I love that. I have bold as part of my strategy too, because you guys can look it up, but I do have the PG-13 version of my strategy is bold action.
What's the R version? I need to know.
No shit. It's the no shit campaign.
Shit, Sherlock.
No shit campaign. So I have a whole thing with that. But all of that is found under the bold action, because that is what we need. We need people willing to like say things, even if it's not polished and pretty. Like, these are things that are reaching people. So tell me what the Be Bold means to you and your campaign, and how you're going to relay that back to folks when you're in Congress.
Okay, I will. Be bold and run for office if you think you can and have something to offer at a time when people are hungry for that. That's number one, be bold. I left my corporate law job to run for office because I was done with where we are as a country and how most of our money is not going to we the people who fund this government, but to corporate interests, foreign interests, tax cuts for the richest, etc. So that's number one, be bold. Step up, go for it. Basically, you've got nothing to lose, assuming you can do this. 2, we have got to overturn Citizens United. It is a bipartisan issue, and the only way to do it, since it is Supreme Court, I'm a lawyer, constitutionally, it's Supreme Court made constitutional free speech law. You can't just pass a law in Congress. We have to amend the Constitution saying corporations are not people, money is not speech, and we are going to have serious limits on how much one can give to any politician. So I studied the history of constitutional amendments, because people say that will never happen. And I say, oh, yes, it will. Here's why. We have amended our Constitution many, many times. And one of the fastest was in 1971. In 100 days, Congress passed the law, the states ratified it, and the Constitution was amended. 100 days. That's like 3 months. Which means if I win in November and take office in January, we can have this done by spring next year.
Wow.
And that amendment was to lower the voting age to 18, and Richard Nixon was president. So it's heartening to know that when there's bipartisan will, we can get this done. So that's number one. We're going to overturn Citizens United, and that's bold, in my opinion. Number 2, income inequality. We know this is crushing, A, the middle class, but B, most everybody. And that our economic system simply is not working for the majority of Americans. And I am focused on the majority of Americans, majority rule, majority wellness, majority deserving of all good things.
What, you don't want minoritarian rule?
No, I don't. We're in that right now. The oligarchs are not serving me. My property insurance is too high. My health insurance is outrageous. My groceries, my gas, my this, my that. So no, in our beautiful, beautiful republic that is a democratic republic, we must revert and reform our majority rule country. And we've lost that. And the oligarchy is hurting most of us.
Yep.
So I want to attack income inequality in every legislative way possible. Now, I am referring as we speak to my priorities 2027, because the DNC has failed to rebut Project 2025 with any forward-thinking positive plan. And this makes me crazy. Why aren't we doing so much more to explain to people why we should be in power? We are on their side. We are going to lift everybody up. We are going to do good things for the majority, because we don't message well, and because we don't do bold, organized, demonstrative things like this.
Yep.
So
sorry, I wish there was something I could say and be like, no, wait a minute. No, you're right, actually. Like, you're right. It's not, it's so, it is disheartening to see that we haven't had like more of a pushback on it. Now, one thing I will say.
Yes.
I will say in defense of our fellow Democrats.
Okay.
We don't have the oligarch money going into a specific think tank.
We do.
Well, not into, so the Heritage Foundation for like, 40 years has been pushing out this whole agenda, various agendas. So we don't have anything as coordinated as that. That's what I will say.
And I don't think that's money so much as organization.
Yeah, but it's money going into the organizations.
I'm sure that helps. Kamala Harris raised $1 billion and lost the election. So I just have to say, money is not everything, never should be. And we can do a lot with our brain power and our righteous platform to project why Democrats should be in power. Like, it is time for change. It is now. The state of our country is in a dire place. And if you don't see and understand that, you're not hearing from us why. So that's a big part of my platform. Like, just talk straight to these people. So
literally why I have the no shit campaign.
No shit campaign.
Because it's like, people could get it when I go like, hey, do you know how much shit there is in your water? And they're like, no. I'm like, let me tell you. And they're like, oh.
Water.
I mean, we get trapped, like, trip ourselves up as Democrats too, because we want to be wonky and professional, and there's this institutional thing, right? And I really think, like, in my situation with the because it is poop, but they call it the fecal bacteria indicator, right? And everybody's like, I think fecal is poop, but I'm like, not entirely sure. But I'm like, it's poop, lots of it, all over the place, And then people are like, oh, that's bad. Yes, very bad. So.
Bad. Poop and water bad.
Yeah. I mean, but we could do that with like a ton of different issues, right? We don't have to be wonky. It's just people have to believe and we have to believe in ourselves, right? Like,
totally.
hate to feel like say like that too. I mean, unfortunately, Democrats don't have the best reputation for being strong in their position either.
Agreed.
We've been waffled and pushed over. I mean, unfortunately, I think Chuck Schumer is kind of the poster boy for this right now.
Hakeem and Chuck have got to go. They're
I mean, it's just, it's like, it's capitulating to the enemy.
Yes, it is. It is.
Point. Instead of being strong and being positioned and principled,
right,
and doing what people want, So
they're not free to be, Dr. Cindy. They are not free to be. They are bought. They are bought, and they are bought even more bought. So again, Citizens United, we see Schumer speak out on, Schumer and the DNC will not criticize Prime Minister Netanyahu. So that is a political, honest conversation that gets distorted, confused, and trapped by big money and name calling. And I am not willing to be that kind of representative. If public opinion on Netanyahu has shifted for legitimate reasons, i.e., horrific acts and war crimes, we must respond to that and not pretend it's not happening. So now we have the vast majority of Democrats upset with Netanyahu and wanting to slow the weapons or maybe stop them for a while to Israel. And Lois Frankel and Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and the most of Congress, we're not talking about this. And the DNC will not release the autopsy of 2024 because, lo and behold, it turned out Gaza was a big reason people either
100%.
mostly didn't vote. I think a lot of the stay-at-homes were due to Gaza because they were so mad at her for not being willing to offer a different vision than
Yeah.
Biden. Yeah.
I just saw an analysis on that this week,
Mm.
and that basically it was 2 counties that definitively lost the race for Kamala, and it was the one outside of Milwaukee and then Wayne County and Detroit.
Mm.
And I'm from, like I said, I'm from that area, and it's a very heavily, it's got a lot of Muslim folks in Dearborn and that county as well. Rashida Tlaib represents that area. So these are folks who had been very outspoken from the very beginning about what was happening in Gaza and had said, begged the DNC, begged Kamala Harris, please take a moral stance on
Yes.
this, right? Like take a moral stance. Like they want to vote. They don't want to vote for Trump,
Right.
but they wanted the killing of their family and their friends and the destruction of their homes and their family homes to stop. And they were just ignored. And
Kamala.
it was devastating. And so let's talk about that. So let's talk about your stance on it, and maybe what would you do? I know I said this, I was going to make this easy, and in my opinion, Israel and Gaza is like the most hot topic on the Democratic side too, because I saw it from the very, very beginning when I saw my friends, women, my friends who are Black women, my friends who are Latinas, this really affected them. It really did. And aside from the folks that I know back in Detroit and just being a political watcher, like I was watching friends who maybe weren't, I wouldn't call like foreign policy hawks, right? I have 2 degrees in international relations. I was like every moment watching it, right? They weren't. So my friends were just like, oh my gosh, I'm very upset about this. I don't understand why they're killing these people. And I saw it immediately, the way that it had resonated again with my friends in the communities of color, very much differently than with my friends in the white community, because there was different history here in the United States. And so I was like, this is going to be the reckoning. This is the thing that's going to like kill it for the Democrats. And that was when October 7th happened. I saw it immediately there.
Wow.
And I was just like, this is going to be the issue, the defining issue of the campaign. So I don't need Ken Martin's report to tell me that, because I had seen it and felt it on the ground from folks I was talking to. But so let's put you in the position of being in Congress, hypothetically too. So like, what would you be doing differently in relation to Gaza and Israel, as to what has happened, and maybe even what's happening now with Iran?
Thank you. First and foremost, I would be honest about the facts on the ground, and I would hold hearings on them. What happened in Gaza? When did it cross, if it crossed? We all know it did, from defense to offense to war crimes. I don't use the G word because I am not an expert. I know that many international bodies around the globe do think what happened was a genocide. I personally do not take an opinion as a non-expert. However, I do believe, again, I'm not an expert, but I'm willing to say there were war crimes and they crossed the line at some point. So let's have hearings on what happened. Let's have hearings on why it happened. And let's be honest about the facts on the ground. If our Leahy law, you're familiar with the, so the Leahy law on human rights, we're not going to give bombs and money for military aid to countries who are obviously and openly committing humanitarian crises, war crimes, human rights violations. So let's apply that to Gaza and now South Lebanon. So I always want to be fact forward and I always want to be honest. And sitting here today, I am very comfortable deeply criticizing Prime Minister Netanyahu. The man lies through his teeth like our president does, reflexively. You bomb people waiting to get food. Oh, it was them. You bomb a hospital and a daycare center. It was them. He will never own anything, just like Trump. He will never own any fault. He won't even consider the possibility. So I'm just opposed to that as a democratic human rights values person. Chronic liar, clearly committed war crimes, no reckoning, no honesty, and our own Congress, president, and leaders, same story, refuse to have an honest conversation. So I just want to have an honest conversation. If we need to pause our military aid, if we need to reduce it but fund something, I mean, there is so much room for analysis, change, and responding to where we are now. We are not nimble in Congress. We have had one line since 1948. We support Israel unconditionally, period. We will not discuss it. We will not discuss it. And if you do, you're going to get called names.
Yeah.
So that has to end. I need to be
Yeah.
a steward of our tax dollars, and Americans need these billions of dollars right now. We are in an affordability crisis that needs federal investment. And if we need more money for that, let's take it out of other things that we can cut back on. And maybe right now, funding in Israel is a good place to do it, since Netanyahu cannot be trusted with our money to be a righteous actor. So that's my feeling. I'm an Israel supporter, but with conditions, with analysis, with honesty, and being nimble on the topic. Lois Frankel is so pro-Israel, she cannot use the Palestinian word unless it's attached to the word terror. If you look at her X posts, her Twitter posts,
Wow.
and will not criticize Prime Minister Netanyahu, even though the majority of Israelis would like him out.
Yeah.
She takes a ton of money from AIPAC. It is her biggest donor.
Wow.
And frankly, that probably says enough. We don't even need to discuss it anymore, because like Schumer and Jeffries and so many in Congress, AIPAC is pulling the strings, and that has got to end.
Yeah.
And overturning Citizens United is probably the only way, because we're stuck in this big money, every election cycle trap. So let's end that. Let's be more honest and nimble. Let's not lie to the American people. And if facts change on the ground, okay, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean we hate you, Israel. We love you, Israel. We want you to have better leadership with who we can trust with our precious billions, which currently go to them. Yeah. So that's my feeling there. And I know when I'm canvassing, which I do a lot of, anybody 40 and under, litmus test question. Do you take AIPAC money? Yeah, 100%.
Yep. That's what I'm saying.
I'll vote for you. It's a litmus test now.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it is, because it's exposed so much.
Yes.
And I think I will speak as an expert in international relations.
Okay, good.
We don't treat other countries the way that we treat Israel.
No, we do not.
And there's no other country in the world that we have this kind of special relationship with, that we will be called to war in an instant with, that we allow an entire apparatus of funding and PACs and all this other kind of stuff to get this kind of level of connection with our government officials. There is no other country that offers a free tour to every elected official in Congress.
PR tour, hello.
Right. There's no other country in the entire world that does that. Not Japan, right. Nobody. It's only Israel. And, you know, I would say it took me a while, because before it was, I don't know, it wasn't, the fissures really weren't as obvious until recently, I think. And I think it's also because of, like you said, the Citizens United really ramped up, right? So the money flow is even greater than it had been before, even though AIPAC has been around for a while.
Yes.
And the stakes are high and continue to be higher than they had been. And frankly, with Netanyahu, bolder, right? In terms of what they've been asking the United States to do. But maybe they feel so comfortable because they've bought just about everybody off. Yes, so I mean, it's very strange. Like it's illegal. Let me just put it this way: it's illegal to take foreign money as a congressional candidate from anywhere. Like, you know, so the fact that we
a U.S.
organization,
so it's it's blurry.
It's blurry, right? Yeah, it's. You know,
I want to say two more things. One. We were righteous in our decision to support the founding of Israel, as complex and frankly controversial as that was. I think we were righteous, okay? We understood the need for a safe homeland for a people that had just been annihilated.
Sure.
That was good. We were righteous to help them get on their feet, and they did. They did miraculous and beautiful things with that little piece of land. At some point, that has started to shift into an arrogance and an expectation and an entitlement that we are entirely required, I think, to analyze and not support if it crosses lines and breaks U.S. law. So, and I'm also highly disappointed in the Arab world for not doing more better by the Palestinians, and every party involved, including Western countries, for not being better at diplomacy. That part of the world should not be in this unbelievably divided, hostile, militarized, and violent place. So maybe that's women need to be in power. Who knows? Maybe if our entire government was women, we could all come to the table and find peaceful solutions. I like to fantasize about that.
Yeah, me too.
At this point, what else can we do? Look where we are.
So before I let you give your final pitch,
Okay.
I wanted to, is there any other issues that are super important to your
Yes.
campaign that you want to cover here?
Please.
Because I know we dive in on this one issue, but I know it's probably not, it's not necessarily the top issue. What other things are part of being bold, are part of the issues that you're addressing? Just let us know some of those other things that you're looking at.
Thank you. My number 2 bold after Citizens United is universal health care. It is time. It is not left, it is not right, and it is not centrist. It is pro-America. Right. So we spend $4 trillion a year on healthcare with some of the worst outcomes. We are the only country amongst our peer countries that does not guarantee some semblance, some amount of healthcare. Yeah. And we are losing money. We are losing people. We are so stressed out. We are in medical debt. We're paying too much and not getting enough healthcare done. This is not left or right. It is not even political, other than Citizens United issues. Money pouring in. Lois Frankel takes money from big healthcare. So I want to make that. I want to interrupt myself to say one thing I admire about Trump and MAGA is they get 40 things done at the same time. They have 40 plates spinning that all seem massive.
It's not all good though.
No, it's all terrible. But Democrats get in office and they're like, we can only do one thing.
Just one thing, maybe.
One thing. I'm like, people, you could have made abortion legal nationally. You could have done more on healthcare. There's so many things they could have done when they had a trifecta, as short-lived as they are. Trump's is only going to be 2 years probably, but they don't. They're nervous. They're scared. They're cowardly. It drives me crazy. Trump comes in, with a bull, not a bulldog, a bulldozer.
Yeah, bulldozer with like a hacksaw, like a chainsaw. That's what Elon Musk did a whole video on it.
So let's get super big thinking, aggressive, positive policy forward. And overturn Citizens United and pass universal health care and make housing affordable with massive amounts of money from HUD, building actual affordable, environmentally sound housing. And referring to my priorities, climate change. We need massive, beautiful, clean energy everywhere, and the Sunshine State should be a leader. Yeah. Okay, that's all.
That's good. No, I know. And actually, I'm a long time environmental activist. We're coming up on Earth Day here, everybody, right? But it's like we're in an existential crisis about so many other things. I feel like we haven't been able to address it. Unfortunately, now we're in that crisis is going to be ongoing because all of those numbers, because we've missed all of the marks at this point. So that will be an ongoing fun one. Yeah, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I will say, I am 100% with you on the universal health care. And as somebody who has declared medical bankruptcy and had a former spouse, the father of my children, lost his vision, has a hereditary condition. And then my youngest, when she was an infant, had a rare blood disease that would have cost us out of pocket millions of dollars just to save her life. And knowing that if we hadn't had Obamacare, we wouldn't have been able to probably get any of that treatment because even with the platinum Obamacare that I had, 3 years later, they denied cover or treatment that she already got. And then we had to pay for. So that was actually leading into the medical bankruptcy that I had to declare. So it's a horrible system here. I've lived in 2 countries that have universal health care. It's amazing. Like anybody that tells you anything different is lying to you, because it is better than stressing about whether or not you're going to save the life of your child and whether or not you can afford to get the treatment.
The amount of stress Americans endure because of our broken healthcare system is bad for our health. Yes. It's all connected. We're worse off because of it in every way possible. I'm really 100%. Sorry you had to go through that. It just sounds extremely stressful and upsetting.
Yeah. But it's part of what launched me into this space too. Yeah. It's like, hey, I know I'm not the only one. And it's also like there's this whole power, like I'm not a flawed person because I had to declare bankruptcy because I had tens of thousands of dollars of debt that it was incurred because my daughter was sick. Like that's not that's not somebody's fault, right? So
No.
it's been part, just like you said, with the income inequality and stuff. Like there's so many things that we have to fix in this system, and I'm so happy that you are going to be bold in Congress and fight so much of this stuff. So yes, I love it. And so this has been an amazing conversation. So if there are other folks who are inspired by you like I am right now, tell them where they can find you, how they can get involved, and what do you need to be successful to win this seat.
Thank you. We are so grassroots. So small donors, lots of volunteers. We're canvassing, we're phone banking, and we're writing postcards. My website is www.doyleforcongress.org. And there you will find everything. Act Blue if you're so moved. Sign up to volunteer. Send me an email. Speak out on issues. I'm really into dialogue and conversation and listening. I'd say my favorite thing to do as a campaigner is canvass. I knock as many doors as humanly possible. And I love how different every conversation is. And also every door is a surprise. You just never know what you're going to get. Yesterday, I had a man in his underwear go on an anti-Trump rant, and I had to film him because it was so glorious. And so
amazing.
I welcome and appreciate any and all help, because it's hard to challenge an entrenched incumbent who gets millions of special interest money. But I want to do it and show everybody it's possible. And we can do it with positivity, and we're not bashing her. There's no need to. We know it's time for change, and we say that with all due respect. Yeah. And we want to do it differently. So we are. So that's where we're at.
Well, I love that. Thank you so much for joining us here. Victoria Doyle, running for Congress in South Florida. So appreciate it. And we're going to put all the links in the show notes. So if you're watching this or listening to this, you can find her on social media, but you can go right in there and click. You can get to our website. We'll put the donation link there as well. So thank you so much.
Great talk.
And I am going to end this show here by saying thank you to all our listeners and the folks who have been following along with us. Appreciate you so much. This has been Dr. Cindy Speaks, and I am your host, Dr. Cindy Banyai, and this is, of course, on the Big Mouth Media Network. And we would love to have your support here. This is a grassroots. We are the only progressive media outlet in the state of Florida. We would love to have your help. You can get help. You can help us by going to our website, bigmouthmediafl.com, going to the plans and pricing page. You can get a monthly subscription, annual subscription that helps us keep the light on. We will send all of our amazing content to you in your inbox when it comes out. So that is what we give back to you. Plus, you can help independent media, and also check out our cool shirts in our Big Mouth shop. That also helps out as well. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Dr. Cindy Speaks. If you'd like to learn more about her, go to cindybanyai.com or connect with her directly at vote@cindybanyai.com. We love connecting with people.